Hello, and thank you for joining me tonight. This is the video for Chapter 3 of Dynamic Thought, or the Creative Consciousness series, third edition, third chapter. Again, we're going along with the book Dynamic Thought for the most part. If you haven't seen the two or three previous videos, I'll put a link to them in the description. And the book is available via PDF for free and also audio for free. So you don't have to buy anything to participate in this. And you don't have to do this right now. Like if you're stumbling across this and you want to save it for a time that's like more appropriate for you, that's totally cool too, So chapter 3 of this book is called Success and Character Building. This chapter goes into 3 qualities or aspects of the subliminal mind and adds to our daily affirmation the removal of a negative with the replacement of a positive. We started doing that a little bit with our denials, but we're going to be working on our character for the most part in this video, or other things as well, like it could be health and things like that. But these are less about the mental world, denying the negativity in our mental world, and more denying the negativity in us and our character, and just like how we are as people, if that makes sense. If you've never seen one of my videos before, thank you so much for watching. I'm a Master Teacher Reiki Practitioner. I work out of the New York City, New Jersey area. If you'd like to get in touch through social media, you can find me on Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook. And if you'd like to check out my website, which is INNATE.com, there you can see my blog. I have like little updates of like the channel and stuff, my shop and the services that I offer. You can reach out to me to get me a message, request a video, or just like have a question or something. Or you can make a donation if you feel so inclined. The existence of the subconscious mind is ancient knowledge in the East. However, in the Western world, it's kind of something, for the most part, people are just starting to, the mass populace is just starting to kind of come to terms with the fact that there's this, subconscious mind of ours. Occultists around the world have been aware of the power of the subconscious mind, for many, many, many years. It's not to say that no one in the Western world is aware of it. Like I said, it's the mass populace is not entirely aware of it, which is unfortunate because it's so powerful, and it's something to keep in mind, like constantly, like what are you letting in? Our subconscious mind is programmed by our thoughts and by what we absorb or is impressioned upon us by our environment. You could take TV, for example, like they call them programs for a reason. I've kind of gone into this on like other videos, but just be aware of what you're letting into your world. The music that you listen to, like I love a variety of music, but there are certain times where I know like a certain song is probably not good for my well-being because I'm gonna get it stuck in my head and it's gonna be like negative, or it's just kind of not vibing with like what I'm working on, like the inner work that I'm doing. Your music kind of reflects that, like just like when you're really down and you really want to listen to like sad music, it's because it's a reflection of it and you're like on that level and it like feels good. And it's like when you're getting ready to like go out, or you're excited about something, you want to listen to something that's like giving you energy. Or even when you're like cleaning your house or something, you want to listen to music that's giving you like energy, or that you just like find peaceful or whatever it is. So it's a reflection, and it's something to consider when like what are you choosing to listen to compared to how do you want to be feeling, or what level are you at, or what work are you doing? Does this go well with the work that you're doing? So to be successful and build character, we need to be aware of what our subconscious mind is absorbing. The book then goes on to discuss, which I found this very interesting, I never really read it like this before, these 3 aspects or qualities of the subliminal mind, which are inspiration, intuition, and creative thinking. In the next chapter, the author is going to show how, or speak more on how he breaks down the subconscious mind, which is only broken down into 2 parts in this book so far that I've gotten through. I just want to like mention this because you're going to hear me say subconscious and subliminal, and I feel like it's kind of information that might be a little confusing. Basically, you have your conscious mind, right? Like that's, how I'm speaking to you right now. And how, we're very aware of our conscious mind and our conscious personality and everything, our ego, you could call it, I guess, in a sense. But we have the subconscious mind, which is extremely powerful, right? But there's two aspects that, again, I've never really seen this broken down like this, and I really appreciate it because it makes more sense to me. So there's the subconscious mind aspect of the subconscious, which is not creative. It doesn't have independent thoughts. It's more of the workforce. It's what you tell it what to do, and it just does it. Like it just carries things out. It's like the power in a sense. While the subliminal quality of the subconscious mind is creative, and it does have, again, it's where this inspiration, intuition, and creative thought comes from. So it's this place where all this knowledge is stored. So you've got the power aspect of it that just does what it's told. And then you have this creative, I knew that, the gut instincts, these like ideas that just come up, like you get the answer to something, which we're going to go into more. But that's like subliminal and then subconscious. I hope that makes sense. And we're going to cover that in the next chapter anyway. Every great thing has sprung forth from inspiration. Some of us express more or less of this power. We all have our unique strengths and ways about us. While not all of us are going to end up to be, genius artists or inventors or physicists, we all have an area from which we do draw forth inspiration and express our passions with a level of mastery and success and accomplishment. We all came into this world with a purpose, which our individuality reflects. There's something that we're able to do a certain way that no one else in the world will do it exactly the way we do. And that's not to say that, like take me like Reiki teacher or something. That's not to say that I'm the best Reiki teacher, but I'm going to reach out to or be there for a unique set of people, and that's gonna have a chain reaction of sorts however the world kind of plays out. You know what I mean? Like it's not just you and the only one of you in the world. It's you and like you interacting with this level of your environment, you reaching whatever level you reach, that then can be even extended out from that environment or out from that like group. So you can look at it that way. If it's a struggle at all to be like, oh well, how could I be the only one who can do this or that? It's not maybe that you'll be the only one with that skill, but you're the only one that's going to do it the way that you do, and you're the only one that's going to have the interactions and be that presence at that point, like in that aspect. So listen to your gut for inspiration. Now, having intuition not only means being guided by this inner knowing, but it's also the relationship that you have with it, and then the actions that you take because of this knowledge that you have. I don't know how many times, like I've personally, and I'm sure you've experienced this too, received some type of message or had this level of intuition and didn't do anything about it, and then like whether it's like later in the day, the next day, even like a month later, you're like, oh man, like I saw that coming, I should have done this, or oh, I knew that was gonna happen, or like whatever the case may be. Personally for me, like I'm doing a cleanse right now, and like I really need to for my health and stuff, but like my intuition has been telling me to do a cleanse since like well before anything, any sign that like I needed it, and I was just like, oh yeah, I really want to do that, I'm gonna do that, and I just never did, so that's like a small thing, but it's another example of me not putting action into what my intuition was telling me to do. If you have something that you're working through, or you need an answer of sorts, and you're just trying to like determine it, try not focusing on it with your conscious mind, which is very limited. Instead, dismiss it to your subconscious mind, like assign it to your subconscious mind or subliminal mind. And instead of, with your conscious mind, because like it always needs to be doing something, focus on something simple, basic, like that requires thought, but is kind of easy, and occupy your conscious mind that way, so that your subliminal mind has the time or has the opportunity to do the work, like behind the scenes. I don't know how many times it's happened to you as well. You have like something you're working through, you're like stressing out over it. The second you like go for a drive, or like something that's like very like you're focused, but it's like easy, like you're cooking or whatever, like doing something a bit mundane, that, like, you'll get that idea. You'll get like that, like, oh, like, yeah, that there's the answer, which is like super cool. I really love that. So instead of just being aware that, like, hey, that works, like, let me send this off to my subconscious or my subliminal to deal with. And, I know that I'll get the answer and I'm not going to stress out over it. That keeps our vibrations stable, so we're not like stressing and getting negative. And by doing that as well, we're focusing too much on something, we're creating blockages so that it's not going to reach us in all the ways that it could reach us. It's only going to be possibly getting to us through the channels that our conscious mind is aware of. So the subconscious or subliminal is very appropriate for that. The creative aspect of our subliminal mind provides the first steps to our greatness. Everything has first been a thought, a vision, an idea, and between, with additionally inner guidance and then our own determination, we bring it forth and we manifest it within or into the physical plane. Our outer world is a direct reflection of our inner world. It's our creation, affected by what we allow. It's caused by or affected from what we allow into the mental plane of our mind, into our mental world. You can bring yourself, your life, to any gradient on the scale. Your gradient is going to match whatever level is going on here, whatever is like active, and the messages that you're sending. So that could be, gradient wise, happy, miserable, sick to perfect health, or abundance to lacking. There's so many levels in between, and that's where you're going to fall depending on what you're focused on or what you're allowing in there. It's not even exactly what you're focused on, because there's many times where we're focused on making more money, right? Or money is like a great one, like we're all like, yeah, okay, pay me. But it's something that we're all obviously, we all understand the significance of it. Our lives aren't maybe not necessarily easier with money, but money does provide freedom of sorts, and it gives us the opportunity to help others. And there's some very noble qualities about money, like money is neutral. So mentally, right? Like there's a lot of times where we're like, oh, we need more. I have to work more. I need to make more money. Like your subliminal mind is just going to be like, yes, you do, Instead, if you're focusing on this and by doing yes, it's just going to keep you in the place of I need more. And then you're going to be like, yeah, I need more. I'm still here. I need more. Whereas if you can get to a point where you're just like focused, you're in your mental space, you've like stepped up, you're here. And you see yourself having everything that you need, like being able to do all the things that you want to do with that money. And in a sense, also incorporating your subconscious and subliminal mind saying, this is coming to me, like, let's make it happen. I'm going to go work on this, and somehow, I don't understand how these things work 100%, but you're going to free up the subconscious and subliminal to get things moving to you, to either create ideas, or even the universe is going to work to kind of like, bring things to you, and you're going to align with it or whatever. I'm kind of going off on a tangent now, but my point is just be like careful of the words that you're saying to yourself, because it's going to reflect in your outer world. I need, like in your outer world, you're going to still need, saying you need is not going to bring something to you. It's going to keep you needing. Saying you have, saying something's coming to you and you see it and you can feel it and you know it's coming to you, and it's going to be so awesome when it gets here. But I'm okay right now. I'm not stressed. I'm just happy that it's coming and I'm grateful. That is a completely different area. You're the same person. You're in the same circumstance, but that mental difference there is going to create a completely different vibration that you're putting out to the universe, and thus what you're attracting. All right. Well, if you remember, I'm sure that you do, we have assignments during this whole program, and the main part of this, you could say, besides just your day-to-day and being very careful of what you're like thinking, taking power over your thoughts, but another part of the assignment or the work that we're doing is these meditations and affirmations, again, in the morning before you get out of bed, and in the evening when you're in bed before you go to sleep. So we're really trying to work around that dream space or get as close to we can to like the point of before we fall asleep and then after we've just woken up. So I'm going to read to you an addition to the affirmations aspect that we've already been working on. Now, if you're following along, you probably have a notebook. So you're just going to kind of add these to your notebook that we've been working on and continue to read all of it. Like if you've got, the first one was the mental you, the next one was your mental world. Keep reading those like prior to your meditation time because it's going to make it a lot easier. Now, like the book doesn't say that you need a notebook, but I just find it so much easier to stay focused. One of the biggest challenges to what we're doing here, what we're trying to transform, what we're doing by focusing on these goals, focusing on this kind of like end result in a sense of this program, like not in your life, but just like, the thing that you want, the thing that you're trying to bring, whether that's health or love or money or, just success or whatever your goal may be. Part of our biggest problem and why we never freaking get anywhere, I do this all the time, is that we change our goal. We have a goal, we'll focus on it for a little while, and then, we encounter shit through our life and our goal starts to change a little, like, well, maybe I don't want to live here. Maybe I want to live here instead. So let me change that. Now, there's certain things that you can kind of add on to your goal. So like, let's say you're focusing on like a career and you have like XYZ of what you want, like you have how much money you want to make, you have your hours, and you're focusing on that, on your goal. If you kind of think, okay, and I want to have a company car, like that's probably okay to add to your goal. It's all in alignment. But when it's other things that get confusing or they start like changing the goal, like that's what basically makes us keep starting over and over and over again. So we're not really making progress. We might be getting practice on like the initial stages of manifesting, but we're not following through. And keeping that focus is such a huge part of bringing it to you. Like you focus on it until you get it and don't change it until you do. That's why I like the notebook. I think that kind of keeps like, okay, where am I? Am I still on track? Okay, so I like that. So anyway, I'm going to read to you this additional area of affirmations to add. And this is about replacing the negative with a positive. So we'll cover that more. But it says, mine is a life of overcoming and power. Henceforth, I will cease doing blank and I will instead do blank. I do this by the infinite power within me, which can never fail. So obviously we're going to fill in the blanks. The author uses this example and it's a good one. So let's say, it's hard for you to wake up in the morning. Say like you keep saying, I want to get up early. I mean, there's a multitude of reasons why we want to get up early, right? We might want to exercise. We might want to have time to make a healthier breakfast or pack a lunch. We might just want some time to ourselves. We might want to get a jump start on our work, whatever the case may be. So henceforth, I will cease hitting my snooze button 20 times. I will instead get up when my alarm goes off at, 6:30 or whatever. Of course, you're going to need perseverance for this. Like the first day, you're going to still hit your snooze button, of course. So just keep trying, just keep setting your alarm for the time that you want or whatever it is that you're trying to bring in or replace with or, fill with, and keep doing it. You will get there. It's going to take a few days. Like, don't give up just because it didn't work out like the first time. Just to mention quickly again, going back a little bit, when we're changing our plan around or we're changing our goal, that adds this level of like confusion in a sense. Like we don't know what we want, which like you don't get what you want if you don't know what you want. And chaos in a sense too, because it's all like jumbled up and it gets like pretty hairy. I'll say something too about just quickly before like I get into the blacked out screen and meditation aspect or assignment. You have to be careful too what you say you want to do, because sometimes you'll say it and if you don't act on it, then the universe is going to make you do it. For example, I have a good friend or, you know, a wonderful person who's my friend. We're not terribly, terribly close yet. But she's always going, you know, one of those, like, always creating, just, you know, mom, like, just really wonderful. But, you know, you can tell she's, like, overdoing it a little. I wouldn't say that, but I think she knows that she needs a break, and she couldn't take a break. Sorry, I hope this isn't, like, personal. She couldn't, like, take a break because she's just the type to keep going, you know? And now she's having, like, surgery also. We're in a very similar position. Surgery also. And that's going to make her take a break, you know? Like, I have a client recently, very similar situation, where she's got a lot going on, and she knows she probably needed this, like, this time to do inner work. And she also injured herself and needs to relax for a while. So it's like, if you don't do what you know you should be doing, you have to be careful, because I'm not saying something bad is going to happen to you, don't get me wrong, but something is going to happen where you're kind of forced to do the things that, like you said, you want to do, or the things that you feel like you need to do. You can go take that for, like, my cleanse and, like, my health stuff too. So just to consider, and I'm not saying something negative will happen. It's just keep in mind that, you know, you might have experienced this before. So now I'm going to black out the screen and read this meditation number 3. It's not as repetitive as, like, the affirmation ones are, but still it's something that's beneficial to close your eyes, relax, to kind of get into a meditative state, and let your subconscious absorb. Maybe repeat the words after me in your mind or something like that. So we'll see how it goes. Just keep in mind, this is also supposed to be done prior to sleep and just out of sleep. So, you know, when you get into bed and before you get out of bed. Hope you enjoy. In the past, I have listened to the distracting voices of this imperfect, unsatisfying life of the senses. I have been pulled this way and that by desire, by impulse, by uncontrolled emotions, and have been influenced by the advice of those who have no inward knowledge. Henceforth, I turn a deaf ear to all these voices and listen only to the inward voice, which always speaks with perfect wisdom. No more shall I be perplexed and worried, not knowing which way to turn or what to do. Instead, I shall be guided perfectly by the inward voice of inspiration. I raise my mind above this life of the senses and dwell in the perfect world of mind. All thoughts and suggestions and states that are not in harmony with the highest good, I reverse into their opposites. Thus I do cleanse my mind, my thought, my life, my circumstances, my world, and build up my life anew. When perplexed or faced with difficult problems, I retire into my inner self, and by thought control, I keep out or reverse the unwanted thought until my inner mind is stilled and calmed, and I can hear the inner voice of wisdom. This voice of wisdom never errs, never leads astray, but always guides me toward the highest good. Therefore, I have no worry or care or perplexity, because I always know how to act even in the most perplexing circumstances, being guided perfectly by the inner voice of wisdom. Henceforth, there is for me no care, anxiety, or worry, because I am guided into all good. Every good and perfect thing is mine now. Health, prosperity, happiness, peace of mind are all mine here and now. Thank you as always, and namaste.